there a way to connect these varied experiences and archaeologies of commodification, labor migration, market insertion, linking with what we see in snapshot observations, these classes of labor, this fragmentation of experiences, with therefore fragmented politics and the lack of collective projects that can bring or provide a unified platform to these fragmented class experiences?
Yes, of course. It does mean that we need to look at what's happening, but with a sharper analytical eye for your question. Yeah. For example, say we take an experience that we both know, UNAC, which is the peasants' union in Mozambique. Well, it's been clear for a long time that UNAC operates in a world which is differentiated. And a lot of people who are in leadership, if you go to see what they're doing at a local level, are hiring their members to work in their own fields, especially the specialized rice producers, the specialized sugar, those in the area that actually are doing contracts. Some of these contract schemes in sugar are not really contract schemes, really, but they're rentier schemes. But for those that actually run it, they're also, they're building their base. So they're taking on real political issues. They will launch struggles against capital, yeah? And that's important, but they don't, big capital, they don't launch political struggles about conditions of work which will apply to them as well. So there are certain areas that are just left out. And I think that research on those areas is important, and we can do that. And people will be interested in UNAC, I think, could actually probably extend itself to take on some of those issues, would be interested in doing so. But you have to have analytical categories that allow you to look with somewhat sharper eyes and to also go against what might be the secrets of organizations that you actually, support or think are important in terms of their existence. Years ago, there were people like us, I think they were economists, but who were working with MST. And they were at the ISS for something or other. And they said, well, you can't repeat this outside this meeting, but, there's a problem. Because MST was formed with a lot of the displaced sugar workers who then moved into towns. So that was one of their semi-rural agricultural bases, was former agricultural workers who had moved into town with the displacement, with the mechanization of harvesting. And they said the problem is that those people, they just want a wage, and they don't take very good care of their fields. And, we don't quite know what to do when people within our unions actually don't follow the same criteria of efficiency that everybody else has to follow. We don't know what to do about that. But you can't talk about that, yeah? Well, of course, I'm not going to talk about it, but it is a real dilemma, an important dilemma, that if you are actually going to work like forms, like cooperatives, as ways of doing the transition that are by definition multi-class, then how do you do that? Anyway, I think we could also sort of take a few more risks vis-a-vis our relationships with different organizations. So I do understand that it's, Via Campesina is a force and it's important, but it shouldn't be a force which we are not allowed to look at in terms of research. And the kind of abstract critiques are abstract in part because people, I'm exaggerating, but because they don't actually raise the questions that emerge, that are real questions that confront people in such movements when they're working in multi-class situations.
But isn't it also because some people go to do field work about the political activities of an organization and don't look at the productive dynamics linked to their bases? And some people go to look at rural communities and how they produce and reproduce themselves and can't link that to work on the politics of their organization and their...
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. But then that really does mean that it's also the responsibility of scholars who do work on those things to, talk about the problem. Yeah, it's, after all, people who are doing research currently are almost always young researchers who actually are given some money to do research and who have the time to do it and do it. But, they need also to be interrogated and are actually, generally speaking, wanting to be interrogated. So yeah, I think it's a flaw of us who are, teachers, really, yeah.